They've been meeting today. We will bring you that just as soon as it comes in. In the meantime, we're talking about 2016. You know, we're more than 2 years out from the next presidential election, but there is already plenty of speculation out there about who might be running. Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform, has chosen 6 Republicans he thinks can actually win it in 2016 for the nomination anyway. He joins me right now from Washington. All right, Grover, good to see you. Who's on the list?
Good to see you. Look, there are 6 people who could run start to finish, who could raise the resources, the money, have the campaign teams, have name ID, and have a narrative that would allow you to run for president and nobody would go off the stage. A lot of people ran for president in 08 and 12 buying a lottery ticket hoping to get lucky, winning a straw poll or a caucus or a primary, and then they hoped they'd put together a campaign. Christie, number 1. He's had some troubles, but he's still standing.
You put him in the top of your list? I mean, is this in any particular order, I should ask?
Going in a circle, east and around, east to west. Christie, New Jersey, can raise the money. Northeast has the resources. Serious governor. Then you go to Scott Walker,
governor
I want
to stop you on Christie for a moment here because, you know, obviously this whole concern over the Bridgegate issue has taken its toll on his popularity. Can he overcome that by 16?
Maybe. If he hadn't had Bridgegate, he would have had almost a full year where he could have locked down all of the big money donors and a lot of the activists and party people. That's not happening. They're keeping their powder dry, which is why he's still on the list of 6, but no longer the presumptive front runner. He also shot himself in the foot in the last day or so. He put forward a budget with a number of tax increases in it. One of the things he used to be able to say is, I'm from a blue state, I'm from New Jersey, I vetoed all tax increases, no tax increases while I'm governor. He's just introduced 2 tax increases.
Okay, so let's move on to number 2.
Scott Walker, Wisconsin, took a blue state, turned it red, Republican House, Republican Senate. He changed the labor laws in that state, dramatically reduced the cost of public employees' pensions. Now the unions can no longer take dues out of people's paychecks. They have to ask them nicely for it, and people are saying no. He cut taxes, just $500 million this last week, in addition to previous tax cuts. Passed concealed carry for Second Amendment people. Down the check for Reagan Republicans, he's been there. You go down to Rick Perry, Texas. He faltered last time, but he can raise the money. He knocked it out of the park at CPAC this last week, gave a good series of presentations and speeches. When he's not taking medicine for back pain, he's quite articulate.
Yeah, I would say, you know, okay, let's move on in the interest of time. Bobby Jindal.
Bobby Jindal, bright guy, a lot of progress, took a blue state, turned it red, passed an ethics law, a real ethics law with teeth in Louisiana. That's not easy. He's cut taxes. He got school choice passed. He's an Indian American, and he would have a lot of support from that community, both financial and vote-wise. He could stand on stage.
You know, he's an interesting. No, I want to come back to Jeb Bush because I think he's a very interesting candidate right now. Is someone who's also very much in touch with the Hispanic community, which is important, and has those Florida ties. But let's jump over to Rand Paul here for a moment, because there's a lot of concern right now, Grover, that the Tea Party has effectively held the rest of the Republican Party hostage. Rand Paul coming out on top at CPAC. He's obviously got the support of the most conservative members of the Republican Party. But is there a danger that he's just too polarizing to win on a national level?
That is what one would have expected, extrapolating from his father. But who has stood next to Mitch McConnell when some of the more irresponsible elements have attacked Mitch McConnell as some sort of liberal because with 45 Republican senators, he can't pass legislation in a Senate that requires 51 votes to pass legislation. Rand Paul has stood there. When we had trouble in Florida, we were worried about this race that we just won, the House race in Florida. Rand Paul came down. Who helped the Virginia governor? Rand Paul was there. He's been out with other Republicans across the board. He has been a team player as well as an active small L libertarian Republican, which is why he's so attractive to young people.
Jeb Bush, you know, there's just never enough time for any of this, but Bush could he, even with that name, could Jeb be a real contender?
The answer is yes. The name is a vote anchor with voters that has to be overcome. But it's also Dad's Rolodex and his brother's Rolodex. And he was, for 8 years, a competent Reagan Republican governor back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So he has a good track record. Not Scott Walker territory, not Bobby Jindal territory, certainly not Texas territory, but a good Reagan Republican track record as governor.
The Reagan Republican, all right, track record might come in handy. Thank you very much, Grover. Really interesting insight. President of Americans for Tax Reform 2016, right around the corner. Okay, coming up next, everyone, a changing of the guard at Disney. We're going to tell you what it means for the most powerful media company.